I work for a nonprofit that has a contract with the U.S. government to run a human rights law reform project.
Oh, wow.
So what do? I work with the government. Do you know the phrase NGOs?
Yeah, non-governmental organization, right?
Right. So I both work, I sort of play both sides of the fence. I work with the Cambodian government, and I also work with the NGOs. So I sort of work from the inside and try and open up the government, like encourage them to open up,
That's
and then also sort of work with the NGOs to beat up on the government.
Hey, was it the internet that messed it up?
Yeah, was it at my end or your end?
I think it was at your end.
I think so too. Now, I was thinking like, we're talking about censorship and the line goes dead. I wonder if coincidence or not. No. Anyway, so yeah, there is, well, the sort of first thing that happened here now, I mean, now they've shut down some opposition websites,
Really?
which is sort of a pretty big deal. But there is, the government controls all the television stations, the government controls most of the radio stations, and the government controls most of the newspapers.
Wow.
But there are still some radio stations, some newspapers that are opposition aligned. But even so like there's an expat, a foreigner-oriented newspaper that we read, and they have a Cambodian insert that they include in each day's newspaper. And if the article's really hot, like the articles about the internet being shut down or websites being blocked, they don't print in the Cambodian section, because I think it's like, well, they know that the government's attitude is, well, it's okay if the foreigners are all pissed off at us, but we don't want the locals pissed off at us.
Right. That's
So,
interesting. Yeah, we're
but
trying. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, we're trying to free a writer from prison. I think I told you a little bit about it, but she's in prison for assault. But I think in reality, she's in prison for, like, expressing her views on, like, the government and what's going on in Vietnam and stuff. So.
Sure. I mean, very, very, very possible. And what I was going to say is, everything I'm saying about Cambodia, it's worse in Vietnam in terms of freedom of speech and government control of the media, at least from what I hear. So,
is there a lot of differences on, like, education? Like, I'm sure there are, right?
Between Cambodia and Vietnam or Cambodia
America and Cambodia.
Oh, totally. I mean, Annette Center had to take the kids out of the public school because they were completely worthless. You have to bribe your teachers for them to even... Now, in fairness to the teachers, the teacher's salary is like $50 a month, and you can't live on that. So, $150 you can live on, but you can't live on $50. So the teachers have to make the money from somewhere, and they make it from the students. So, they sell the exam questions, you pay them to be allowed to cheat on your exam, you have to pay them to get your grade book, you have to pay them, it's just, everything is money.
Yeah. And I read somewhere that, like, the communist way of thinking is that, like, one child will do very well and, like, they'll nurture them, and then the second one is, like, screwed.
Yeah, well, you invest, well, because you don't have enough resources to send them all to school or whatever. So you choose the best one, and the rest, too bad.
That's very unfortunate.
Often that's the case.
I would have been screwed. My brother would have gotten an education.
It's not necessarily the first one, you might have made it.
Sure. So what else? Is there anything else you could share about Cambodian life?
It's really, really different. Actually, we just had a net center. Where was the group from, Annette? We're from New Jersey? Ridgewood. There was just a group of... The George Washington Middle School in Ridgewood, New Jersey, just sent some kids and teachers and whatever to come visit a net center. I don't think it's so hard to explain. I mean, it's so much poorer. It's such a simpler life. In terms of the education system, as a friend once said to me, it's impossible to believe what people here don't know, even the educated people. It's like a lawyer I work with, at one point I was talking about left brain versus right brain, different ways of thinking. She had no clue as to what I was talking about. Or, this is a 27-year-old lawyer. And there are such holes in what we would consider basic understanding. I mean, geography. I actually remember Adam was very, very good at geography, but I mean, they're still like high school kids trying to get the concept of, okay, Asia, the Americas, Middle East. I mean, they know a lot of things probably we don't know, but the education system is so bad, and yeah, it's really different.
Now, do you guys get access to Facebook and Twitter in Cambodia?
We definitely get access to Facebook. Twitter, we probably do. I've just never understood why I'd want to be on Twitter, so
I think Twitter is more for like protest and like gaining awareness. And
really?
I think it was banned in Egypt.
Right, I heard that about them shutting it down. I think, from who knows, the CIA from what I hear, the CIA got it completely wrong about the Middle East situation. But, so I could be totally, if the CIA can get it wrong, I can be wrong too. But it seems like in Cambodia and probably also Vietnam, there's not a lot of risk. I don't know, have you learned at all about the Khmer Rouge?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so from 1975 to 1979, a radical communist movement took over Cambodia, and they forced everybody out of the capital city and forced everyone to be rice farmers and killed anyone they thought was subversive or anything like that. And so estimates vary, but basically it's estimated that in 4 years between 20 and 25% of the Cambodian population died, either from being murdered or starvation or malaria or all this. So it was just, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's not good.
Yeah, so it was this really terrible, terrible event. And actually, the main people that were killed were the intelligentsia. Like if you had glasses, they assumed you could read and were from the upper class, so they killed you. If they found out you had any education, they killed you. And so all that's to say that the Cambodian population, less so now, and not less so the new generation, but the whole country was suffering post-traumatic stress disorder. Right. So I think that even though Cambodia is sort of democracy in name only and verging on dictatorship, I'd be surprised if there's a rebellion, because people here feel that the most important thing is that there be peace and nobody killing each other.
I understand. Yeah, that's hard. Wow.
So, and Vietnam, it was much less so, but they had a civil war between North Vietnam and South Vietnam, and bombed by Americans. So I don't know. I don't know if they would be willing to.
I think there's quite a few similarities, but that's very interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you're there to help, right?
I'm trying. That's the idea. It's funny because Annette and I are at different extremes. She's working at the micro level and, helping individual people, and I'm trying to move the system, which is a lot harder. So we'll see.
Well, that's great. And it was good catching up.
Yeah. How's school going?
It's not bad.